Hello everyone. So welcome you all to Ashok Tutorials Meghalaya's first Mtet channel. So my dear friends, in this video, we are going to learn Unit 6 Child Development in Pedagogy. So what do we have here? Let's see. Piaget's constructivism in child development and pedagogy. Now, who is Piaget? Piaget is the name of the person, right? He is a psychologist. So his theory I have already explained in my YouTube channel, also I have explained, and also in my coaching also I have already explained Piaget's theory, right? So this topic is going to be just the revision, right? So let's see what we have. Jean Piaget, this is the name of the psychologist. So Jean Piaget's theory of constructivism explains how children learn and develop through active exploration. He believed that children are not passive learners but actively construct their knowledge by interacting with the environment. Now see, what is written here is that Jean Piaget is a psychologist who explains. What does he explain? He explained that how children they learn and how do they develop. So, according to him, the children they learn and develop through active exploration, which means they explore their environment. All right. He also believes that students are not passive learners. What is passive learners? Passive learners means those learners who learn without interacting or without being active. They're just listening, sitting and just listening. All right. So these type of learners are known as passive learners. Now he says that children they construct their own knowledge. And how do they construct their own knowledge? They construct their own knowledge by interacting with the environment. All right. What is learning according to Piaget? Now let us see, what do we mean by learning according to Piaget? So learning is a process where children build new understanding by modifying their pre-existing knowledge. It is not about memorization, but about making sense of the world through experiences. So, Jean Piaget believes that children they already have the schema. So what is schema? Schema means the image of something or the knowledge of something which you already know, right? So here he says that children they already have the knowledge, but they only keep on adapting or they keep on modifying their pre-existing knowledge. All right. And this is the process of learning according to Jean Piaget. All right, let us see. And also he discourages memorization, right? He discourages memorization and he says that students learn by exploring. So one example is given here. A child learns about shape and size by playing with blocks rather than just listening to a teacher's explanation. So suppose you are a maths teacher and you try to teach the child about different shapes, like what is a sphere, what is a cuboid, what is a cube, what is a triangle. So in that case, if you just draw on the board, the child might not learn that well, which he or she could learn when you actually place the materials. Suppose if you want to teach about cuboid, you can give bricks to the children. They will understand, oh, the cuboid looks like this, cube. So in order to teach the cube, you can give the students the Rubik's cube you can give them. And in order to teach the shape of a triangle, you can give them the prism. And also if you want to teach how a sphere look like, you can give them a tennis ball or a football, right? So this is how the children learn. Now, relationship between learning and development. So what is the relationship between learning and development? Let us see. Piaget emphasized that development comes before learning. This is very, very important. What do Piaget say? He says that development comes before learning, which means the child develops first, then he learns. Of course, this is true, right? We are developing as human beings, then only we start learning, right? A child must reach a certain level of cognitive maturity before they can grasp new concept. This is why teaching must be age appropriate and based on child's developmental stage. Now you see, of course, there are different stages given by Jean Piaget in his theory. So he says that the learning comes with cognitive maturity. Of course, that's why in our schools we have the syllabus, we have the books according to the level of the students, right? The mental maturity. The books we are using for class 1 student, we cannot use them, or we should not use them for class 5 students, or the books we use for class 10 students, we cannot use them for class 5 students, right? Why? Because the books are designed according to the cognitive ability and the maturity of the children, right? So whatever we teach in school, it is according to the age. If a child is in class 6 and he or she is of 10 years, right? If he or she is 10 years, then that is according to his or her age, right? This is how we teach, according to the age of the individual and the mental or the cognitive maturity, right? Now see, this thing is repeated here, right? So if you have not watched my video on Jean Piaget's cognitive developmental theory, then please go and watch that. I don't want to say the same thing on and on, because it's already done in detailed. We have already explained what Jean Piaget has to say, right? So according to Jean Piaget, how many stages we have? Let's see. Sensory motor stage, pre-operational stage, concrete operational stage, and formal operational stage. So according to Jean Piaget, we have got 4 stages. All right, what are those? They are sensory motor stage, pre-operational stage, formal operational stage. All right, sorry. We have pre-operational stage, then we have concrete operational stage, and finally the last one we have is formal operational stage. All right. So here it says in number 1, sensory motor stage. So children are said to be in this stage when they are of the age 0 to 2. If you have children, they are of the age 0 to 2, then they belong to sensory motor stage. Here, by the word itself, you understand that the children, they learn through senses. We have 5 sense organs, right? We have eyes, ears, then skin, then nose, right? So we have different type of sense organs. So the children, they learn through their senses and movement. So provide sensory experiences, example rattles, textured toys. So you understand how do a small child of 2 years behaves, or how he or she conveys her or his message to the parents, right? Now pre-operational stage. So if your child is 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, then your child is in pre-operational stage. So what happens here? Children develop imagination but struggle with logic. Here the children can imagine, all right, they can imagine, but what happens is that they lack logic, which means if you say 2 plus 5 equals what? 2 plus 5 equals 7. But the child of this age will not know that 5 plus 2 is also 7, or 10 minus 2 or 10 minus 3 is also 7, right? So they lack this logic. So teaching tips, how can we help them? By storytelling, role play, and visual aids. Avoid abstract concepts. So we have to avoid the abstract concept, which means we should not tell them the things which requires thinking, mental capacity, because these children who are from 2 to 7 years, they don't know how to think about the things which don't exist, right, in ideas, right? They don't know how to think logically. Now concrete operational stage. So those children who are 7 to 11 years, they are in concrete operational stage. Logical thinking develops, but only with real objects. So in concrete operational stage, logical thinking comes into the children's mind, but what happens is that only with the real object, not that much, all right, not that advanced. So use hands-on activities like measuring liquids or grouping objects to teach math and science. Now you see, if you are teaching children of the age 7 to 11 years, then you should make use of hands-on activities like measuring the liquid, how much ml you are taking for the experiment, or what are the different study materials you are taking, how you are going to go about with the experiment, right? How are you going to group them differently? So those things you need to teach the child, right? Now, formal operational stage 11 plus years, which means if your child is 11 years, 12 years, 13 years, then he or she falls in formal operational stage. So, abstract thinking and problem solving skill emerge. So, when a child is 11 years and above, then he or she develops the abstract thinking, which means they can, understand logics, they can do reasoning, and they can even solve problems. So these skills develop in children when they are 11 years and above. All right, teaching tips: encourage debates, critical thinking, and hypothesis testing. Now, if your child is 11 plus years, then you should encourage them to take part in extempore speech, to take part in debate competition, to take part in brainstorming, to take part in critical thinking, and to take part in hypothesis testing, right? Hypothesis means which they can apply their brain and understand, right? Now we have here key pedagogical principles from Piaget's theory. Active learning: children learn best by doing rather than listening. Example, learning addition by counting beads. Now you see, my dear friends, this is very important for your Mtet exam. So when you know that who said children learn best by doing rather than listening, so Jean Piaget is the one. You should remember that, all right? Of course, we all know that we should involve the learner in our process of teaching, right? Involve the learner, allow the learner, give them the chalks or give them the duster or give them the beads or the gram or the p, anything, whatever you are taking in order to teach mathematics or counting. Then you ask them to do it by themselves, because they will learn it better. Just by listening to your lecture, they will not understand that much, but if you literally allow them to practice, to do it, then they will understand and remember it for a longer period of time, right? Discovery based learning: teachers should provide, or teachers should guide students to explore concepts rather than giving direct answers. Example, instead of explaining why plants need sunlight, let children observe plants in light and shade, right? So we teachers are known as facilitators, right? We are known as facilitators, which means we are just the helpers, right? We will just help the children to learn the concept. So example given here is that you allow the children to think, all right? Suppose if we say uh, plants need sunlight, but why? If you are explaining why plants need sunlight, rather than this, you ask the children to observe the plant in sunlight, and at the same time you ask children to observe the plant in the dark without sunlight, and then you ask them, why do you think that whatever observation you see, you ask them on the basis of your observation, why do you see that this plant is green and another plant is not so green, or anything, whatever you observe, you can ask them, right? So teaching does not mean that you will answer all the questions. Sometimes even the students should answer to your questions, because that is how they will learn how to think critically, they will know how to think abstractly, and they will excel in whatever field or experiments or activity they are given to perform, right? Individual learning pace: since children develop at different speeds, teachers should provide activities suitable for each child's stage of development. Now you see, some children, they are, not some, in fact, almost everybody of us, we are different. We have individual differences, right? Some students are fast learners, some are slow learners, some are mentally retarded, some are physically, not able, or some are, having visual problem or have low vision, autism, right? So different type of children we have in our classes. We also have got intelligent students, right? So whatever the curriculum, whatever the activity you are giving, you see that you meet the need of the learner, right? Don't just impose everything equally. You see, you find out who are slow learners, who need more time, who need more explanation. So as a good teacher, you should take extra effort and help everybody equally and give them the task according to their ability, right? Constructing knowledge. Learning should build upon what the child already knows. Example, teaching multiplication by linking it to repeated addition. Yes, now Jean Piaget says that whatever the child already know, you should just associate or you should just add up the new information to it. All right. He says that since the children they know multiplication 2 into 1 is 2, 2 into 0 is 0, 10 into 1 is 10. So they already know this, right? So along with multiplication, you add up addition, then subtraction, then division. Like that, you teach them in the process, right? Teach them systematically so that they understand and they remember whatever they have learned for a longer period of time, right? Now, in conclusion, we have Piaget's theory of constructivism is essential in child's development and pedagogy. It highlights that children learn best through experiences, active engagement, and discovery. Effective teaching should be based on child's developmental stage, making learning meaningful and natural. Now, my dear friends, this very very important lines are given here. You have to remember that according to Jean Piaget, children learn best through experiences. These experiences word is very important. Engagement word is very important. Discovery word is very important. So these words are very very important. Even above you have seen one important word, that is exploration, right? So children they learn best by exploring. Allow them to interact with the environment, allow them to explore, allow them to take active engagement, active participation, and do the activities by themselves. Then the learners they learn in the best way according to Jean Piaget's cognitive development or Jean Piaget's constructivist theory. All right. So my dear friends, I have not explained in this video so much about the different stages given by Jean Piaget. Why? Because I have already explained this in the previous video in one of the unit of CDP. All right, Jean Piaget's separate topic is there, so there I have explained. So if you have any problem, any doubt, any further clarification you need, then please go and watch that video first, and after that video you watch this one, then you will understand this and you will never forget. All right, so I hope this is all in this video. So thank you everyone for staying connected with the Ashok Tutorials Meghalaya's first Mtet channel. Thank you.